UFC 272, Jorge Masvidal versus Colby Covington. Thus begins the Drake curse. Although losing back-to-back against the dominant champion Kamaru Usman, Masvidal still retains his BMF status as a fighter and fights Colby Covington. I can literally go into a 1-hour deep dive into their relationship alone, but let's keep this simple. Drake lost his bet as Colby won via unanimous decision.
49-46, 50-44, and 50-45 for the winner by unanimous decision, Colby Chaos Covington.
But it did make fight of the night, so there's that. Drake put down $275,000 for Masvidal to win, but obviously you saw the result. We will also go through a journey showing the overall loss or profit Drake has with each entry. So far, he is down $275,000, which would have paid a lot considering Masvidal was an underdog in that fight. UFC 274, Justin Gaethje versus Charles Oliveira. I just want to shout out the people who collected this data before we carry on. I got all of this info from a website literally called thedrakecurse.com and a business called Stadia Agency. A full-on business wanted to shame Drake's gambling addiction. I kinda love it. But back to Justin versus Charles. This was Charles' title run where people thought he was about to get his chin checked real bad by the brawler Justin Gaethje. Charles already has a weak chin, but his strength as a fighter pulls him through till the finish. But considering he missed weight and was stripped off the title, maybe this weight cut might weaken his chin even more. But in comes the lucky Drake curse to save the day. Justin got brutally knocked down and submitted in round 1. Although Justin landed his own highlights and knockdowns, so we can't take that credit away, Drake still made the bet on Justin Gaethje. He put a full-on $427,000, which is nearly double the last bet, and lost, making it a total loss so far of minus $702K. I wish I had that amount of money to play with. UFC 276, Israel Adesanya versus Cannonier. Adesanya and Drake are known to be boys a bit, so you know Drake bets on every Adesanya fight. And a lot too. Adesanya further cements his champion legacy fighting Cannonier. He's the last contender before he actually laps the division. But also known to be quite dangerous because he was an ex-heavyweight and an ex-light heavyweight fighter. And during that time, Izzy only had one loss in his UFC career, and that was against the light heavyweight Gane. So there was a bit of tension on what was going to happen in this one. Izzy played it safe like the past few title defenses where he had the dominant range and spammed leg kicks. I can see some new UFC fans not remembering this fight because, yeah, this fight is never promoted because there was literally no highlight.
49-46, 49-46, and 50-45 for the winner by unanimous decision, Adesanya.
No, I was just talking. I know. Well, you're getting paid for this fight, right? Oh, absolutely.
And the crowd was disappointed. But in contrast, Drake was the happiest man alive. He bet $1 million for Izzy to win, and he got back $285,000. Oh, sorry, $285,714 profit, which is also Drake's first ever UFC bet that was betting on the favorite. Actually, I take my word back. I am not 100% sure if Justin Gaethje was the favorite or underdog because there was a lot of forward and back during the hype of that fight. But anyway, Drake making his total betting career just down $416,286. UFC Fight Night, Blades vs. Aspinall, Molly McCann and Paddy Pimblett. This was a very strange card to bet on, considering there are many recent UFC pay-per-views that Drake did not bet on. So this one, looking back, was kind of weird, a fight night. So he bet on McCann and Pimblett to win. I don't know the proper terms because I'm not a gambling addict, but I think that's called having two legs, which according to the data was still quite a probable outcome. So let's start with Molly McCann. She was a hype train during this time, and people were thinking she might be the champion. Her last fight before this was a performance of the night, and one before that was fight of the night. So when she fought again, today, she won performance of the night again. She TKO'd Hannah Goldie in the third round via spinning elbow and punches. We were witnessing the woman Yuri Prochazka. That's two back-to-back spinning back elbow finishes. It's just sad to think just 2 years after this fight, she retired. And let's go to Paddy. He fought against the flamboyant, even more flamboyant than Paddy, the Jordan Levitt, and won via submission in the second round. He also promised to teabag his opponent too. He is a man of his word. Drake laid $2,296,211 on them to win on this card, which is a very, very specific amount for some reason, and he won back $3,723,077, earning a profit of $1,426,866 that night, which is a lot for such a random bet for the superstar artist Drake. Okay, Drake literally got back $3.7 million on a fight card, which that whole event's total ticket gate sales was $4.3 million. But anyway, the total journey's total amount now is $1,010,580 in the positive now. So he is uncursed. UFC 278, Kamaru Usman versus Leon Edwards. So Drake bet on two separate tickets for this fight. He wanted Usman to beat Leon in round 4 and if not, at least KO him. I'm not gonna lie, I think a lot of people lost their money in this fight, so I don't blame the Drake curse here. He dropped $149,000 for the KO and $49,790 for the win in round 4. We all knew what happened though. So he is down $198,790 that day, which is weird because Usman was considered the welterweight GOAT at the time and also a superstar himself, especially when he was a guest actor in Black Panther. So in retrospect, Drake bet 20 times the amount of money on Paddy and Molly to win on a fight night. That is a bit odd. But anyway, his total now is a positive $811,790. UFC 278 as well. Jose Aldo versus Merab Dvalishvili. Also on the same day, Jose Aldo fought against Merab, which in 2022, not many people cared about this fight. As far as I could remember at least, Jose Aldo was still doing good, being ranked 3 at the time, and is fighting Merab, who was ranked 6th at the time. Drake probably didn't even know what a Merab was and thought this was easy money. So he dropped $238,934 for Aldo to win. Sadly, he lost that bet as well, as Aldo could not get any rhythm going to win the fight. Although Aldo defended all 16 takedowns from the machine, which is still one of the best things to say about a fighter right now. But he still lost to dominance. The winner by unanimous decision was Merab, meaning Drake lost $238,934, so the total now is a positive $572,856.
Good stuff, Merab. Wow, he's actually putting on a chain representing his country. Why would you? I wouldn't. If I was the president of Georgia, I'd say take that fucking chain off. We don't want you representing us.
UFC 281, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira I. Yes, I did tell you Drake and Izzy are boys, but wait until further down the video because something really weird happens. And I'm not saying that because I'm a YouTuber wanting you to stay for like the retention time and shit. No, this is actually kind of weird. So anyway, jumping into UFC 281, probably the best fight Izzy had in a very, very long time. Let's break it down. Izzy was the favorite and he was actually winning the fight, rocking Pereira bad at the end of round 1 and then winning on the scorecards debatably for 2, 3, and 4. And in comes Pereira, who never went 5 rounds MMA before, just TKO'd the champion. Drake dropped $1,595,464, which was kind of a good bet for Drake because it was probably what most people thought anyway and what people bet on. Izzy had so many MMA fights in the UFC, so MMA math kind of said Izzy by decision. But yeah, Drake kicked in super hard in the last minute for this. And now Drake is back in debt. He is in the negatives. Negative $1,022,611. Also, out of all the bets Drake has made, that is the most money he has lost in a single betting slip. 1.5 million is a lot. UFC 285, Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane. Just 4 months later, a bigger star enters the octagon. Jon Jones makes his heavyweight debut for the title, and against Ciryl Gane, the #1 contender and also, conveniently, the only fighter that does not have any form of ground game credential. Drake made quite an interesting bet here. He made 2 bets where it was Jon Jones to KO Gane, what the fuck, or Jon Jones to submit Gane. I'm not too sure about this, but why not just bet on Jon Jones to finish Ciryl Gane? Or did he calculate that the profits will be higher if he did it this way? Because it's even more confusing because with each ticket, he bet the same amount of money, $250K. So that just makes me even more confused why he didn't just bet 1 ticket saying Jon Jones by finish. But that's fine, because we all knew Jon Jones was going to beat Gane easily. So let's break this one down. He lost the betting ticket where it was Jones by KO. So he lost $250K. But he won the submission finish ticket. So he got back $1.7 million, which is $1,450,000 profit. And now, combine that with his betting career, and we get a net positive now. Drake is uncursed and is now in the green with $177,389. Thank you, Jon Jones. UFC 287, Jorge Masvidal versus Gilbert Burns. Masvidal was still a star no matter what. We all know he peaked years ago, but maybe Masvidal can turn the tides one last time because he was basically known for it. He fights Gilbert Burns, who is also old for the division, stood his ground, and won via unanimous decision. Masvidal just looked old and sloppy now. He turned into the fat lion, but that is also fair enough.
30-27, 30-27, and 29-28 for the winner by unanimous decision, Gilbert Burns.
That was his 4th loss in a row, and he decided to hang up the gloves as well. Drake put down 2 betting tickets again, where he wanted Masvidal to win and Masvidal to KO Burns. So this one is easy to break down because none of that happened. So that is a loss of $500K that evening, bringing us to a total of minus $322,611. Drake is officially back to being cursed. UFC 287, Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira. Oh man, Drake really needed this one. The MMA rematch between the middleweight titans, Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira. So Drake bet on Izzy to win and also Izzy by KO, which was crazy. The odds of Izzy to win this time was very, very slight. He was a super slight favorite. But that was because he was basically winning the fight last time until the round 5 TKO. So it was favorable to pick Izzy to win and mostly to win by decision. But Drake also bet on Izzy to win by KO, which was a super underdog result in terms of betting. So in round 2, Izzy was getting backed up against the cage and an older, super dehydrated Alex Pereira just started teeing off. Because why would he not? He's 3-0 against the guy at this moment of time. And then comes the KO. That was one of the craziest ways for someone to win their bout back. And here's a cool Easter egg. This is during the commentary of the Cannonier fight years ago.
And when we see Izzy get knockouts, he's in the center. He's not knocking people out with his back against the side of the octagon. You got to move him backwards. You got to pressure him a little bit.
And Izzy won against the cage by knockout. And also that time in the first round of their first fight. So Alex was actually quite arrogant when it came to pressure fighting and wasn't respecting the counters in that situation. And let's get back to Drake. He must be a very happy man right now. He won the normal winning slip, which he laid $500K and got $885K back. So that's a profit of $385K. And his KO betting ticket, he bet $400K and got back $1.84 million, which is a profit of $1.44 million. So that fight had a profit of $1,825,000. And if we carry that to his betting UFC career, Drake is back in the green, being positive $1,502,389. UFC 290, Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez. Even though Volk lost his chance to be double champ, people still believed in him to be a featherweight GOAT anyway. Volk was matched against the interim champ at the time, Yair Rodriguez. During the time of this recording, Tom Aspinall is still set to fight John Jones despite him being the interim champ. So it shouldn't be rare in this modern setting, but it just reminds me that it is actually normal for the interim champ to fight the champion. Like the matchmakings should be due to book as soon as it was established that there was an interim champ. Isn't that like the whole point? But yeah, anyway, Drake bet on Volk to win. And also another slip for Volk to win via KO/TKO. So to win by TKO/KO was a good bet with a high return because Volk wasn't really known as the power puncher, which still holds a bit true because it was Volk via ground and pound and didn't really shut Yair's lights out. And also, he didn't really KO any top contenders as champ with a giant statement of his power. But also, to be fair, the Korean Zombie and Max Holloway are in their own tier in terms of chin. So there's also that. So winning by KO was a big return where Drake bet $250K and got back $712,500 with a profit of $462,500. Dude, I've been saying a lot of freaking numbers. I don't even know how to say them properly at this point. And let's not forget the actual bet for Volk to win in general. He threw down $1 million and got back $1,270,000. So that was a profit of $270K. And now adding all the profits from that fight into Drake's UFC wallet, we have $2,234,889. This is the richest he's been so far. Since we made it this far into the video, it doesn't really feel like I'm forced to say this, because it's not the start of the video anymore, so it's not really a precaution. But this is for the younger and impressionable people watching the video. This is not a way to make money, okay? Gambling is an overall bad for you. Yes, we are literally seeing Drake in real time, literally making $2 million just now. But he has money to play with. He can literally lose he can lose $100 million, and that won't really tarnish anything from him. So in terms of making it proportionate to the average man, he is up like $200 or $2,000, which is kind of nothing. So gambling companies don't give a shit how much you are up or down. They are trying to build a relationship with you. They want you to be addicted. They want you to be gambling in general. They want it to be your lifestyle, which is why gambling addiction is more prominent in the West, okay? Because the most impressionable UFC fan is normally someone in the West, a teenager, Andrew Tate wannabe, who wants to drive off into the sunset with this random surge of fame and wealth. And gambling companies can sell you that dream pretty easily. Don't think you are beating the system because you are up like 25K or something. The more you interact with these gambling corporations, they will be the ones winning, because you will always be coming back to lose at some point. So yeah, I've done the most I can as a YouTuber, so let's move on. UFC 292, Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley. Drake, for some reason, has an interest in the bantamweight division. Of course, all of Drake's bets are sponsored, kind of. It's so much fuck you play money, it doesn't really matter. But the most interesting part is that he bet on Aljamain to beat Sean O'Malley. For some reason, maybe it's just me, because of the artificial boost of Sean O'Malley already as a fighter. So I thought DraftKings or whatever sponsors Drake will make Drake bet on O'Malley for, marketing exposure. And also, Sean O'Malley just looks like a rapper as well. So maybe it's just me. So Drake put down $500K on Aljamain to beat Sean, which Aljo was a big favorite in that fight. I was there to witness the hype, and I also completely forgot he was the giant favorite. I'm just going to assume Aljo had MMA math on his side, being a dominant wrestler that can stop Sean O'Malley. So round 2, Sean KO'd Aljamain and got the win. That's $500K down the drain, and Drake is at a $1,734,889, which is still a high amount. UFC 293, Israel Adesanya versus Sean Strickland. Here is something we knew to expect. Drake is consistently being Izzy's boy, where he put down Izzy to KO Sean Strickland, okay? It's just one betting slip. Not win, to KO him. That is insane, but also not unexpected. I think all of us were riding off the recent KO high where Izzy got that KO win against Alex Pereira. So with an insane resume now and Izzy fighting someone like Sean Strickland, I think most fans were actually expecting a crazy highlight KO from Izzy. But sadly, that did not happen. Instead, he was the one that got highlighted.
$49-46 for the winner by unanimous decision, and
So Drake put down $500K for this too, which isn't really a lot for an Izzy bet, but then again, he bet on that to be a KO, bringing his total wallet down to $1,234,889. I remember this early where everyone was just so confused on what happened. Everyone thought Izzy just had an off night. But also at the same time, there was a lot of people saying Sean saved the division and he just beat Izzy fair and square. I don't even know if Sean Strickland himself thought he was going to beat Izzy.
But I didn't really take much damage other than checking a few kicks. But yeah, I still can't quite wrap my head around it, you guys. I thought it'd be a lot harder.
UFC 296, Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington. Another super random bet. He's just doing singular bets on a single card. He bet on Leon Edwards to KO Colby Covington. I mean, who doesn't? But in hindsight, Leon was not going to KO him. Was Leon Edwards 100 times better than Colby Covington that night? Yes, but that doesn't mean he was going to finish him. Leon has a bad track record of finishing fights. And now looking back, especially in 2025, that Usman KO was once in a lifetime miracle, with all due respect. But going back to the fight, Leon Edwards won by decision, meaning Drake lost his bet. So he is down $250K that night. Therefore, he is on a 3-betting loss streak, making the total $984,889. UFC 297, Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis. Ooh, okay. Drake cannot catch a break here. During this fight, I think everybody wasn't really sure who was going to win. It was pretty much a pick'em 50-50. And when we watched the fight, it was super even as well. Sean was more defensive and picked his shots very accurately sometimes, but DDP had so much more output where it looked good as well. It ended with a split decision win where DDP became the new middleweight champion. Drake put down a whopping $700K for Sean Strickland to beat Dricus du Plessis, just to lose it all, making the total wallet $284,889. Drake is going to need a lifesaver next. UFC 300, Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. We enter UFC 300, one of the most iconic cards in the modern era. I'm actually quite surprised Drake only bet on this fight for this card. I was expecting him to at least bet on the Justin Gaethje Max Holloway fight as well. But this is fine, because he was actually cooking here. He put down $675K for Alex Pereira to win by KO. That's 675 G's. Meaning Drake was going to be in the negatives if he lost this bet. But luckily for him, in round 1, Alex slept Jamal Hill.
What?
That $675K turned into $1,194,750, making it a $519,750 profit, and making his total amount for his whole UFC betting career $804,639 in the positive. UFC 305, Israel Adesanya versus Dricus du Plessis. Very solid bet for Drake to bet on Izzy to win. It was a good break since the Sean fight, and Izzy says he's hungry for the bout again. But DDP has other plans.
Oh, Izzy said now stand and fight now.
Little Max Holloway downward point, big right hand, 3 in a row for du Plessis, and now drags Adesanya down.
Straight to throwing one hook in. Let's see if...
Oh, he's got the choke. He's got the choke.
Du Plessis.
Oh, he gets it done.
Still,
oh my God.
South Africa, Dricus du Plessis remains the man at 185.
Drake put $450K for him to beat Dricus du Plessis. Decision, submission, KO, whatever, just win. And sadly, it did not happen, and DDP is still the middleweight champion. So 450k went to the Shadow Realm, turning his total $354,639. It's not looking too good. This is actually the last bet on Izzy as well, meaning Drake did not bet on Izzy versus Imavov. I made a video showing that Izzy's speed and heart has peaked and he aged, and everybody gave me freaking shit in that video. Alright, where are you now? Where are you now? I only have comments of the people coming back to say I was right. Okay? That is just a reflection on the community. This community is a little bit sad because ever since Alex Pereira lost by decision against Ankalaev, it feels like there's been zero content on Alex Pereira now. It feels like I have not seen any Alex content for what feels like a whole year. It's like he's retired or something. But going back, Izzy's career isn't just going down. His relationship with Drake is too. Drake didn't even have the attention to be a hater. He skipped that whole skeptical arc like we all did. He just dipped. UFC 309, Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic. And for the final entry, we have Jon Jones to KO Stipe. Nope, not Jon Jones to win, not Jon Jones by submission, specifically Jon Jones to KO Stipe. Which is a very good bet, by the way. But damn, did Drake see the future or something? It does seem obvious now in hindsight because it is kind of easy to KO a literal old man. But Drake's last Jon Jones bet was, Jon Jones to beat Gane by KO or submission. So this is odd where it was just specifically KO. Of course, Jon Jones destroyed Stipe and Drake won the bet. He put on 450k and won back 954k, making that a profit of 504k. So his wallet at the end of this journey was $858,000. Oh, sorry, $858,639. Since UFC 309, I was hoping for Drake to bet on Izzy against Imavov or, maybe Alex versus Ankalaev, but surprisingly not. And not to mention the unconfirmedness of Tom Aspinall versus Jon Jones. So, Drake isn't looking forward to that anytime soon. So yeah, I have no prediction on what fight he wants to bet on next. Sponsored or not, or, if he's even keeping up with the UFC anymore or not. I feel like Drake just doesn't care right now. That's just my honest opinion. Alright, so this is basically the end of the video. Nothing is scripted anymore. Yes, everything from this whole video up until this point has been word to word scripted. So please give me a break. I just want to talk out of my ass for at least a moment for this video. So here is the summary that was also supported from the website. So let's look where Drake is currently sitting. He is currently not cursed when it comes to UFC betting specifically. He is up, previously stated, he is up $858,640. Actually, I think I said $639, $1 off, but you get the point. And over 23 bets, he wagered $12.7 million, returning $13.5 million. Okay, he has a lot of money. He's won 9 out of those 23 bets, losing 14 times. That gives him a strike rate of 39.1%. His average UFC bet size is $552k. With 5 out of 7 official curses, UFC fighters should probably be the most nervous if they receive a pre-fight Drake endorsement. If we get any of those anytime soon, sadly. Dana White, I'm blaming you. And for the very, very last thing, let's just look at Drake's top 5 bets in general out of everything. So his best bet was betting on Jon Jones to submit Ciryl Gane, which gave him a $1.4 million profit. And then number 2 was Izzy to KO Pereira, which also got a $1.4 million profit. That weird-ass UFC Fight Night card with Paddy Pimblett and Molly, that was a $1.4 million profit as well. And then number 4 was Alex Pereira to KO Jamal Hill. That got a $500k profit. And then number 5 was John Jones to KO Stipe, which got a $450K profit. And that is everything. Thank you for watching, and make sure to like and subscribe.